Actress Alyssa Milano has canceled hashtag #MeToo for Joe Biden. This story is insane, ridiculous, hilarious, everything wrapped into one. Let me show you first. So I did a report during my live stream on the accusation against Joe Biden, what happened in 1993, Tara Reade. Let me give you a quick overview here from page 6, they break it down here. Earlier this month, Tara Reade, who worked at Biden's Senate office in 1993, accused the politician of inappropriately touching her without consent multiple times. Quote, "There was no exchange, really. He just had me up against the wall," Reade alleged amid tears in an interview with Katie Halper, which, by the way, I'll link to below the video. I recommend you listen to it. It's about a 7-minute discussion on the explanation of what actually happened to give you more context if you haven't heard it yet. Again, it's linked below the video. Quote, "His hands were on me and underneath my clothes, and then he went down my skirt, but up inside." So this is a serious allegation. Tara Reade actually came out a year ago when Lucy Flores had an accusation against Joe Biden. Tara Reade gave part of the story back then, and then more recently, she tried to get out the full story, but nobody was picking it up. Finally, The Intercept did a piece on it, which I will get to in a minute, as it relates to this story as well. And finally, it got picked up by some people, but not by the mainstream press. They are still, whether it's New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, they are still hiding this accusation. So let me show you now how Alyssa Milano, who popularized the hashtag #MeToo movement, has apparently now taken it out of her profile on Twitter and has broken her silence on why she hasn't come out against Joe Biden in a discussion with Andy Cohen. So she tweets out here, "I explain my silence on the allegations against Joe Biden in this clip. I'm still endorsing Joe Biden. Listen to this clip to find out why." So let me give you a piece of this. I may pause it in the middle of this just to give you more context on what she's saying, but here you go.
You know, I've been very vocal about Biden and my support for him. I've known him for a long time, and I did do my due diligence because part of it was that, and the article that sort of stood out to me was that Time's Up decided not to take the case. And so, you know,
that was important to you. That meant, well, maybe there's more to this story here.
Right. I did my work, and I.
Okay. Let me just pause there for a minute. Time's Up didn't take the case. That's true. Let me give you some more context, though. So The Intercept did a story. So The Intercept is actually the publication that broke this story. Ryan Grimm, who also, by the way, broke the allegation against Brett Kavanaugh. So at the time, people like Alyssa Milano came out, immediately believed, as they should, Blasey Ford in that allegation. But here, Ryan Grimm, the exact same reporter that broke the Kavanaugh story, they don't believe this story. So let me show you. So as the headline here, Intercept writes, Time's Up said it could not fund a hashtag #MeToo allegation against Joe Biden, citing its nonprofit status and his presidential run. So apparently they don't take up allegations now that involve candidates, that involve powerful people. No, let me give you the actual reasoning here. So they go on to describe somebody who was in the Biden campaign, who was also in Time's Up. The public relations firm that works on behalf of the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund is SKD Knickenbocker, whose managing director, Anita Dunn, is the top advisor to Biden's presidential campaign. As a spokesperson for Biden declined to comment, the SKDK spokesperson assigned to Time's Up referred questions back to the NWLC. So Anita Dunn works on behalf of Time's Up, the Legal Defense Fund, and is a top advisor to Joe Biden. Do you know, maybe this gives an indication as to why Time's Up did not take on the Tara Reade allegation. But Let me play a bit more of this.
I spoke to Time's Up, and I just don't feel comfortable throwing away a decent man that I've known for 15 years.
Yep.
In this time of complete chaos without there being a thorough investigation.
Yep.
I'm sure that mainstream media would be jumping all over this as well if
we weren't in a pandemic. If there was more credible, if there was evidence
if they found more evidence or through their investigation.
Okay. You can even hear Andy Cohen almost catch himself when he's saying if there's more evidence or because there's countless evidence of Joe Biden acting inappropriately. Like, are you kidding me? This is totally within his behavior patterns. So let me give you some of those examples. Washington Post story analysis. Joe Biden just made clear he doesn't get the touching controversy. There was a touching controversy with Joe Biden, as reported by the Washington Post. Yet what? There's no evidence that Joe Biden acts this way? Unbelievable. More. Guardian here. Creepy Joe Biden made woman uneasy. Sorry shouldn't be the hardest word. He wouldn't even, at the time, admit to his wrongdoing. Obama's deputy refuses to admit wrongdoing, which puts him in the same company as Trump. And this is kind of gives you the whole overview. Here are all the times Joe Biden has been accused of acting inappropriately towards women and girls. All the times. There's an article about multiple times he has done this. Former vice president, and when I say done this, I mean act inappropriately. What happened to Tara Reade is more serious, but it's in line with his normal behavior. As they write here, Joe Biden's faced some headwinds when it comes to his conduct towards women. 8 women have alleged that Biden either touched them inappropriately or violated their personal space in ways that made them uncomfortable. Biden has also been criticized for repeatedly commenting on the physical appearance of women on the campaign trail and for refusing to explicitly apologize for his behavior. So I'll link to this article as well below the video. You can go through all these multiple allegations, including Tara Reade's early allegation before she gave the full story this year. So just the idea that this is totally unlike Joe. There's no evidence at all that Joe Biden ever acts this way. Completely ridiculous. So let me show you who's now calling this out. Rose McGowan. So Rose McGowan was Alyssa Milano's co-star in the show Charmed. Rose McGowan here saying you are a fraud, replying to Alyssa Milano saying she's with Joe Biden. Rose McGowan says here, you are a fraud. This is about holding the media accountable. You go after Trump and Kavanaugh saying believe victims. You are a lie. You have always been a lie. The corrupt DNC is in on the same smear job of Tara Reade. So are you. Shame. And let me add a little more context here, if I can find it. So here's that extra bit of context. This is Rose McGowan in 2017 talking about Alyssa Milano.
Co-star Alyssa Milano gets a lot of credit for helping Me Too go viral.
So?
Are you proud of her?
I don't like her.
Why?
Because I think she's a lie.
Why?
Do you think I don't know these people? I'm not looking at this from the outside. I have a lot of experience. I know she's married to a CIA agent. Do the math. Who's behind Time's Up? CIA. Where do they meet? CIA. Who needs good PR? CIA. Who are part of the pimp problem? CIA.
These are very powerful people you're talking about.
They are. So am I.
All right. So you can see even back a couple of years ago, Rose McGowan was saying the same thing about Alyssa Milano as she's saying now. Clearly, if you thought Rose McGowan was lying back then, I think it's obvious McGowan has been vindicated. Alyssa Milano is a lie. Let me show you some more reaction here. This is from Tracy Quarterman. Alyssa, this is dangerous and harmful. Survivors are watching. We cannot choose to believe women based on who they support for president, and I am dismayed to see this position. Mainstream media coverage is not a measure of truth or validity. This here is a fantastic point. How long did it take for the mainstream press to finally acknowledge and report on the Harvey Weinstein story? In fact, a year later, they finally detailed how NBC killed the story. Quote, "You are to stand down." Ronan Farrow's producer on how NBC killed its Weinstein story. Rich McHugh recounts how top NBC brass, including news chairman Andrew Lack and news president Noah Oppenheim, bowed to Harvey Weinstein to quash the truth. So the idea that the mainstream press right now isn't reporting on the Joe Biden allegation doesn't mean the allegation isn't real. In fact, in many ways, it means that it is real, because otherwise they could report on it and then debunk it. But if they're not debunking it, then they're giving you the indication that, in fact, it is real, and they don't want to report on it because it is real and it will hurt Joe Biden.